Your name and where you're from?
My name is Justin Johnson. I'm from Fort Myers, Florida.
Tell me about your family growing up.
Basically, we all been athletic, sports, playing football, baseball, track. Have 7 brothers, 2 stepbrothers, 1 sister. Raised with my mother and father in the household.
Were your family strict?
No, not on me because I was the baby of the family. So I was kind of spoiled. I was spoiled, let me say that.
Was your childhood stress-free?
I wish. But no, it wasn't stress-free. I just grew up in a neighborhood in time in the 80s where, drugs became the number one thing to do. Sell and way of life because everybody was selling. Everybody wanted to be cool. Growing up then, I wanted to be cool. Like the older guys, I wanted to get money. I have all the nice cars, clothes, all the females, and just be that guy.
What kind of kid were you in high school?
Mostly laid back, shy, football player. I played sports, so I was kind of cool. Everybody knowed me because of my older brother and sister. They was kind of popular, very popular at the time. So after high school, I told myself, my goal while I was in high school that I'm going to go to college, play football, go to the NFL like every other young football player. That was my dreams, to be in the NFL and everything. But it didn't go that way.
Why not?
I think because of my planning with me and my parents, they didn't help me plan that well. So I went to college in Wisconsin, far away from home, and without, physical, financial support, it made me start thinking, why so far away? Why I could just go back home and it could be easier. I just go to school down there in Florida. So, I just moved back to Florida. I don't want to get caught up in the streets. So I basically just said, when the next semester comes, I'm going to go to Tallahassee with my cousin that's already in college. My sister was there, my cousin was there. So I had a couple family members there in Tallahassee in college. Some at FAM, some at Tallahassee Community College. So I said, I'm going back to college. I'm going to pursue my dream of playing football, and hopefully I'll make it in the NFL.
What happened next?
Basically what happened next was I got back home. I started seeing everybody in the streets. So, I seen everybody getting money. By me being a college student, my money ain't coming in. So it kind of threw me in the mindset of, man, you're going to have to do something. This college junk is cool, but you don't got no money. So it falls on peer pressure at the time, It's all peer pressure. You don't got no money, you don't got no car, you don't got no nice clothes. So I basically then was like, dang, man, I got to get some money.
What did you start doing for money?
Basically, I known about drugs all my life because I had an older brother that used. My dad smoked a little marijuana when I was growing up. So I know about marijuana. I know my older brother used sell cocaine. So at the time, I started learning about drugs. And the more I learned about it, it was basically just get the drugs. They're going to sell, they sell. So I say, well, let me give it a try. And then what made it even worse was one of my oldest brothers, he was hustling. He was getting money. So at the time, he had the cars, the clothes, and everything. But I didn't want him to know that I was trying to sell drugs because he wanted me to go to school and pursue my dream, as a football player, or just get the education so I could come back and better my life. So I started sneaking, getting drugs.
Where you get the drugs from?
Oh, friends. Friends, it's your number one source of getting drugs, because some of my friends, they was hustling and they was getting money in high school, So I just started getting it from them. Then at the end of the day, my brother, forget it, He see that I'm not going to pursue college as hard as I used to be and wanted to be, so I started getting it from him, So my brother was basically started showing me everything.
How did the relationship with you and your brother grow because of that?
It grew to the point where, he would protect me as a big brother always do. And he showed me, basically, this is how you do it. And you watch for certain things. Do not let nobody take nothing from you. And he just guided me. But I was already in tune to everything was going on because I was watching his friends, the guys that hang around him, and I was watching people in the street because, I was popular from football. So a lot of people know me. So I could talk to anybody. They would like to help me, but, they didn't want me to see me selling drugs. They want me to get myself back in track, back going to college, and doing good.
Tell me about the best time of your life selling drugs.
Wow. There would happen to be between the years of 1999, I would say the end of 98, coming into 1999, going to 2000, the beginning of 2000. At that time, I hadn't figured out the game. Well, I think I figured out the game. So what I was doing, I said, okay, in order for me to control everything around me, I gotta be making money. I gotta be making all the money. I gotta have a monopoly on it. So basically, I said, okay, I got family in Texas. That's what drugs, dope, everything's cheap, super cheap. So I figured out to myself, I said, I'll make a monopoly on the game. I'll go over there and buy it for super cheap and come back and sell it in Florida, for double, triple, sometimes quadruple the amount that it goes for in Florida. So that's where I really, really took off in the dope game. I was just buying kilos for $13,000, $13,500. When I was coming back, I was making $45, $50. So I had everything I want as a teenager. So nobody couldn't tell me nothing. I was making what my dad didn't make all year in 1 month. So I was at a point where, hey man, this is how you live.
Do you have any enemies during that time?
Yes. They were silent enemies at the time because I had when I was making money, I gained, a lot of people came around. So I had people that was coming around me telling me, hey, I'll do anything for you, bro. Because they wanted to be down. I was making money. And they wanted to be down with what I had going on so they could make money. So basically, I had a lot of silent enemies. And, they wouldn't say nothing directly to me, but they would say stuff behind my back. Then I eventually started finding out. And, it even got crazy to the point, I was in a near-death situation.
What happened?
Basically, me, my cousin, and one of my best friends, close friends at the time, we went out to a bar, started shooting pool, drinking, smoking. So we on our way home. At the time, I was staying with my oldest brother, which had got incarcerated. So I'm at his place. So we pulls up to the apartment, and some guys was in the apartment. Where at the time, they was waiting on me to come back, for them to rob me. And me and my partner and friend at the time started arguing about, hey man, I need you to take me over here to my girl house. Man, I want to go over and chill with him. He said he's too drunk and too high to take me. So while we arguing, my cousin get out the car. He said, man, I'm finna go in the house, man. I'll see y'all later. And as he walks in the house, he shut the door, and I just hear a big old boom. And at the time, me and my partner, we listened to the music. So I said, man, you heard that? He's like, yeah, man, I heard that. So I said, man, I think they shot my cousin, man. So I get on the phone, call my cousin. He don't answer. I get on the phone, call my cousin. He don't answer. So at the time, I don't have no gun. So it's not like I'm going to be a fool and run in that house when I know I just heard a gunshot without no gun. So I called 911, called the ambulance, tell them I think my cousin been shot, So at the time, I told my partner, I said, man, you probably back out because we don't got no fire and we don't got no gun. So we don't know how this situation could transpire. So we back out. I said, ride around the block, see if you see anything strange or out of place. And we roll around the block. By the time we roll around the block, the ambulance, which was like probably a quarter mile from the hospital, the ambulance was there. So they went in and they picked my cousin up, man. I don't know if the respirator had his chest like he was still breathing at the time, but he looked like he was still breathing. So my cousin died, that was a traumatizing thing for me, being that young and not understanding the game fully, as there's real snakes, they're real grimy people, they're real people that don't really care. They just want what you want, envy you, jealous of you. And that was part of me learning about the game. Then I start getting more cautious. I didn't like guns, but I went and bought me a gun. So basically that was one of them, if not the most close to life-threatening thing that happened to me.
Did you know who shot your cousin?
Not exact. It's basically been he say, she say about on that matter. I have friends around me. They say, hey man, I kill all of them just because I think they was with the scheme of the lick. So at that time, I'm like, man, I don't know. I went into killing people. It's just never been part of my character. So I just like, man, let it ride, let it go for right now because we don't know. But at the time I was angry, and if I had a direct name or direct person, I think I probably would have done it myself. That's how angry and mad I was at the time about how that went down, because my cousin wasn't like a dangerous guy. I think if they wanted to rob him, they could actually rob them and just kept it going, because he wasn't no aggressive. He wasn't no street guy. He wasn't no like, I'm going to kill you. or I'm gonna kill your whole family. Wasn't that type of guy. But what I do think and believe at the time was my cousin had seen their face, that they didn't have a mask on, and he seen their face, and they was more frightened about what would happen if I would have found out or my homies would have found out the consequences that they couldn't stay in Fort Myers no more. So that's how that went.
So how did that improve your knowledge in the drug game?
Well, what it done is just made me more cautious to everything that was going on. And let me say, I was passive. I was young, popular in high school, so I know a lot of people, everybody. And I was more on the passive side that, hey, man, just get money. This is what it is. And only thing when you get money, you don't have to kill nobody and do all the crazy stuff that goes along with the drug game. Because I know there's people robbing, but I thought, I'm just a good guy and bother nobody, so nobody's not going to bother me. And that was one of my biggest misconceptions in the game. That was one of my biggest misconceptions, I can say.
So what happened next?
So what happened next, I just kept my thing going. At the time, I just had a few homeboys that didn't care about shooting or killing somebody. So I kind of kept them close. I kept them in the cut. I kept them on call, speed dial. Anything I seen funny, looked funny, I'll call them. They'll be there in seconds. So I got a little more cautious, but at the same time, I didn't stop.
Did anyone attempt to rob you or steal from you in any way?
Not at the time. It was kind of tense, so nobody really bothered me no more. They know basically at this time, you bother me, it's on, it's to the max, ain't no limits. Once you go there, ain't no turning back. So by me having a little clique of crew of guys that I can call at any time, I didn't have no more problems. And I was cautious. I started keeping a pistol on me, a gun on me at all times, because I didn't want nobody to take my life, But I said to myself, though, if anybody come and rob me, I'm not going to be no fool. I'm going to give them all the money, all the drugs, everything they want. None of that's worth my life. So I had that in my mind already, that if they coming, hey, you can have it, man. I can get all that back within, seconds. I was doing so good in the drug game at that time. I was making money instantly, I get drugs at 7 a.m., all the drugs be gone by 8 a.m. So I wasn't worrying about money and none of that stuff. That was the least of my worries. It just, at this time when that transpired, I was thinking about my life. You know what I'm saying? I had two, three kids at the time. So, it was one of them life-changing moments where, I said, man, golly, that was a close call over nothing. Just was one of those times in my life.
Did you feel like you were trapped? Did you feel like you were trying to get out?
At that time, I started thinking about things and ways how I could get out the game now, because I just was using my common sense. This is not a career. This is something temporary. So I had to think of me a secondary residual income, so where I can make some money, where I don't have to sell drugs no more, or risk my life of selling drugs or the things that came with selling drugs, you know. So now I won't be up under these type of situations for us getting robbed, you know, getting snitched on, you know, the police watching me, which I thought I was flying up on the radar pretty good because I never got harassed by the police. The whole time I was selling drugs, I never got harassed. So I really thought I was up on the radar.
What's the most amount of money you think you made in your best years?
Best
month?
Best month? Oh, easily, I think I made probably about anywhere from 40 to 50,000. One of my best months, I make from 40 to 50,000. At the time, I couldn't keep enough cocaine at the time. I couldn't keep enough because it was a drought. So that helped me make money real quick. During the drought, I was getting access to drugs, but at the time, I was still content. So I didn't never think of getting like a bunch. I thought just get me enough to make me some money, take care of my family, save $5,000-$10,000. You know, I'm doing good. I'm saving $5,000-$10,000 a week. You know, for a week that's 40 racks.
What did you end up doing with the money you saved?
I end up doing with the money I saved. I talked to one of my homeboys that drove trucks. And I told him, I said, man, listen to this, man. I'll buy a truck or two. And we'll go in the trucking game, man. And he said, man, I ain't gonna go in the trucking game with you because you selling drugs and you don't understand the time and the dedication and the patience you got to have with the trucking game by becoming a new owner operator. So, you know, at the time I came back to him, I said, man, this is what I do. I'll buy everything, buy the truck, trailer, insurance, everything. I say, I don't even want no money right now at this moment. I just want to get the business started so we can make some money, man. I know I can't be doing this, selling dope for the rest of my life. So he came back to me, he said, listen, I'll go into trucking with you, but you got to get your license. He said, you got to go to school like next week and get your license. So with the money, I was kind of procrastinating because I was still making, you know, $5,000 to $10,000 a week that I can save without doing no work at all. So I said, I'm gonna give this a chance, man, because this is what I need to do. You know, I'm not tired of selling. I wasn't tired of selling drugs at the time. I just know, you know, after the situation that it's really like ain't no future to it because the people I'm watching around me keep going to jail, getting out of jail, going to jail, getting out of jail. And it's hard.
Did you end up going to jail?
Yep. I ended up going to jail. I bought the truck, the trailer, got the business started. And the week that I was about to go to jail, I was supposed to start my CDL training course. It was a week or 2 week course. The week I was about to go to jail, I had a friend bring a kilo of cocaine back. He got caught. My friend got caught. The feds pressed him, you know, by he being a young guy. We both was young at the time. He's playing football. He's in and out of college. I was out of college at the time. I didn't graduate. I started selling dope. So I like, forget college. I'm making all that in a month. What, you know, people making in a year. So I like, forget it right now. You know, the dope had turned my mindset into like, you don't need to go to college. You making more than your dad, your mom combined. Why you don't go to college? and go to work and try to make $1,000 a week, you're making $5,000 a day. So I said, at that time, get back to on point. My buddy had something to get a kid cocaine. He got caught at the airport. The feds pressed him. They say, you know, I'm just guessing. They told him you don't get a life sentence. By him being young at the time, he didn't understand the drug game that, you know, you don't talk to the police at all. You know, get your lawyer. Let your lawyer talk to them. They want to talk because they'll cross you up. Long story short, they crossed them up. So I'm calling. I'm like, man, where you at? Where you at? Where you at with my dope? I want to get the dope, not knowing that the feds already got him. So I'm trying to go and get the dope. The feds got him. So he don't answer for a little while. But I'm blowing his phone up. I'm actually letting them know that I do got a part of this deal. So I'm blowing his phone up. Boom. So the feds finally convinced him. He said, okay. He called me. He tell me. But he had said something was funny. He said something that was funny in the conversation. He said, what kind of vehicle you in? He didn't like say, hey, call me when you get there. He asked me what kind of vehicle it was. And I was in a Ford Ranger, maroon. I told him I was in a green neon. And just my luck, so when I went there, they the feds was looking for a green neon. But I didn't see the feds because they was in regular clothes, looking like regular civilians and regular cars. So I went there. I think they just was on bomb rush me, but by me telling them the wrong car, they didn't see the car to bomb rush. So I gets on the phone, calling him. He finally, the Fed gave him the phone. They tapped the phone, get to him. So I said, man, where you at, man? I said, don't be playing these games. Where you at? So he said, man, I'm right here. So I went out the airport, circled around. They had him wired up. They had him in the front. So he gets in the car. I said, where the stuff at? You pulling off? I said, where the stuff at? He said, hold on, I left it. And right then, butterflies ran through my stomach because I felt that something was wrong. And he said he left it. It was weird because you never take the dope off you at the time. So I was wondering how you left it. I was saying something to myself, how you left it? So I was getting mad, but I didn't understand that I already was set up. So I'm like, man, I'm going to have to hurt this guy to get this dope from him. And I went, when we back, we went in. I guess the Fed finally seen me and seen what I was in. So we went in, like, you get it. And I asked the airport clerk when this flight baggage and stuff come in. She said, it should be out there on the rail now. Me not paying no attention. The baggage come in with you on your flight. Always when I used to fly. So I was wondering, it's real strange. I asked her when the next flight come in. She said like 30 minutes to an hour. The whole time my stomach bubbling with butterflies. Feeling of something's not right. And when we walked back to the car, feds drawed down on me. County, air marshals, DEA, all on right there, boom. So my man started crying. I'm like, why you crying, bro? They only got no drugs off us or anything. He like, man, we going to jail. I'm like, man, why you crying, man? They don't got no drugs. Be quiet. I'm thinking that they didn't find the drugs, but at the time, they already had the drugs. He crying because he already know. I'm mad because he's crying. I believe he's crying about nothing, but he's actually crying because he didn't gave a sworn testimony on me and said he will testify. He'll cooperate in this investigation with the Fed. So me not knowing how the Fed works, I'm telling them, shut up, man. They don't got nothing. Be quiet. The car, I'm whispering to them, man, be quiet. These cars tap, man. Stop talking. You know what I'm saying? They bugged, they wired. Stop talking. He crying because he know I'm mad because I think he don't know, but he's still about to get us jammed because he's talking and the car's wired. So I went to prison and no. I went to the county jail. I didn't know about the feds. I just thought I was gonna save it. Whatever the bond is, I'm bonding out. You know, if I need 40, 50,000 to bond out, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm good. My money saved up, I'm good. What the feds got me was they didn't give me no bond. They say flight risk. I said, I'm a flight risk. I've been living here all my life. Threat to society, threat to the community. I've been living here all my life. So they tricked me. Well, they ain't tricked me. It's just they laws. And, you know, I mean, I'm not knowing no better. I always hear, shut your mouth. Don't say nothing to the police. Talk to your lawyer. All this stuff. So at that time, I done exactly what everybody I heard. So I got in there, shut my mouth, boom. So by me being a first time offender, I just thought I was gonna get like probably 2-3 years. I come back, have all my money saved up, all my homeboys take care of everything, and I'll be back rolling. This time, I'm gonna just go ahead and get my trucks and everything and get my business started so I can get out the game. Well, there's a different part of the game what the feds played on me. Was they know that 2-3 years will no do nothing to me. They weren't gonna get me to cooperate. I wasn't gonna cooperate. So they career offended me on some previous drug charges. I never been to prison for them, but they career offended me on 2 previous drug charges with the instant charge right there and shot my time from 3 to 5 years to 15 to 20 years as a career offender. So, you know, I was confused. I was young. I ain't understanding. How can I get a career offender? I never even been to prison. You know, so what I done, I went and spent $20,000 on a lawyer, thinking the lawyer going to be able to get me out of the situation. You know, he came back. He said, well, this is the law and they can't career offend you. So at the time, I blanked. I'm like blanking out like, man, how they career offended me? I never been to prison. I thought it was career offenders for people that been to prison. You at least go to prison for you to be a career offender. I ain't been in a prison cell for a couple of days. So I learned about that real quick. And at the time, one of my friends at the time, he got career offender on the same thing. Both of us never been to prison. So they career offenders. They want us to cooperate. So in order for them, they say, okay, we give him 15, 20 years. He's going to cooperate and take the 5 years with his cooperation. Time passed. My friend got a lower group. They sent the motion in for people that do not fit the description of a career offender. Likeliness of not committing crime again, likeliness of don't pose a threat to the community. So I filed the motion. I said, why not? They didn't put me at 15 years. I don't got nothing to lose. I filed the motion. My friend, he filed the motion too. My motion came back and they granted my motion. I sought 6 months before they done anything. They granted my motion. So I told my lawyer at the time, I said, man, since the motion, no, he told me at the time, he said, since the motion been granted, he said, now you could get even less time. It's up to the judge's discretion. I said, what? Why didn't drop it back down to the 3 years, the 5 years I was facing? He said, no. He said, this motion only give the judge discretion to move anywhere from the 15 down to the 5. So I'm like, thank you, Lord. You know, by me being a first time felon, I'm thinking, well, he probably basically gonna give me the 5 years. So I went back in there. In court, the judge gave me, he said, Mr. Johnson, by this motion being granted, that the likeness of you committed crimes and likeness of you being career offender, saying, I'm going to depart from the guideline, the federal guideline. So I was like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I'm going to get 5 years or 3 years and I'll be right back on the streets. He said, but I'm going to give you the sentence of 135 months in federal prison. Me at the time, I was shocked. My mom and dad there thought the people said 135 years. So they're like, whoa, what are you thinking? You know, but they weren't paying attention to it. It was 135 months. So, you know, I kind of had to do my calculation at the time. I'm like, man, this 130, this is 11 years, man. I said, I ain't been in prison. I ain't do 11 days in jail. So it was shocking to me, you know what I'm saying? I was traumatized at the time because I'm 20 years old. Never been to prison in my life. And the man sentenced me 11 years. So I was like, wow. You know, I walked back to the holding cell, still in shock. Went back over there to the holding facility, still in shock. You know, my friends them asked me what I got. I'm like, man, I got 135 months. So at that time, I'm just, you know, I'm like, man, this ain't fair. This ain't right, man. You know, I ain't killed nobody. You know, the only thing I was doing is selling dope. Trying to make a little money, take care of my kids, live a good life. And that's what the passive side of me was about the game. And I learned a lot. Learned so much after that experience when I went to prison.
So how was prison life?
Basically, I got there still in shock, but, you know, I started learning that a lot of my homeboys, a lot of my friends there in the prison I was going to, you know, a lot of like OGs and guys I looked up to there, you know. So when I got there, by being the feds, it was respect. You know, I heard stories about state prison. I've never been to state prison, where the guards or nobody, the staff do not respect you at all. So it was not so easy transition, but it wasn't bad or worse because they respect you. Yes, sir. You know, yes, ma'am. Or Mr. Johnson, you know, that's how they talk. So it killed the thought that I had and images I had about prison where they don't disrespect you, talk trash to you, you know, sometimes whoop you or swing on you, do something to you. So it killed that. And I was kind of cool at first. So what I done, I was just like, man, wow. And when I got there, I was like, shh. So I just got into anything and everything I could get into. I got into I got into plumbing. Then I got into cooking. I went to the kitchen. I played sports, softball, basketball, football, handball, volleyball. So I was doing everything I could do to try to keep my mind off my time. You know, even gambling. You know, I was gambling. I was doing anything to keep my mind off the thought that I'm in prison and I got 135 more months to go. So I just, man, got into everything.
What was the worst thing that happened in prison for you?
Worst thing ever happened to me in prison was I thought I was gonna have to hurt a guy real bad or actually kill him. You know, me, I walk lightly. You know, I respect everybody to the utmost. And this one guy, I just went in a good mood and I was just watching TV and he's a bully. So, you know, that really like hit the switch for me to hurt him and hurt him bad, you know, and possibly kill him because I didn't want no repercussions from this guy. So what happened, I'm just watching TV in there and he came and just turned the TV. I'm like, hey man, why would you do that? You know, I just asked him, why would you do that? Because I was so mad, I didn't even want to talk to him about anything else. I said, why would you do that? I just want a clear explanation of why this is finna go down or why we finna take it to this level. I didn't want to hear nothing about nothing else. So he's like, by him being in bully mode and always been a bully, like, man, I watch soap operas every day. I say, man, there's 3 other TVs you can watch soap operas on. Why would you come in here and bother me? And, you know, I just was trying to get an understanding of why he would do it and in my mind that why I'm going to fuck his life up. Just being honest at the time, you know. I'm like, man, why? Because I really didn't bother people. I didn't want to hurt that man. I know he got family and kids. I don't want him to hurt me, but that was one of the worst situations. So I went and put my boots on because I'm getting ready to fight. You know, got to put my boots on, get ready to fight, and wherever goes from here is whatever. So when I put my boots on, at the time I had a friend. My celly was a little short guy. We call him Hip Hop. He was a nice little cool guy. He seen me mad. He seen tears. He seen everything in me. He never seen me like this before. He shut the door like boom. He said, "What's going on, man?" And he just done like an OG check on me, man. He like, "What's going on?" I said, "Man, I'm finna kill this dude out here." He said, "Why you don't kill him?" I told him, "Man, dude just totally disrespect me." I said, and I asked him, and he was like, "Well, fuck you." So, and I said, you know, I walked out cool and calm. I said, okay, I know what I got to do. So he told me, he just talked to me and eventually he calmed me down. And he was just telling me, hey, man, he said, man, I already been in here 11 years. I done your sentence. And he said, man, I know you don't want to do this time, but right now you got to deal with it. He said, you want to run into dumb guys like that all the time. He said, and don't keep challenging you. He said, you just got to be a better man. I'm like, man, this dude was so disrespectful. He like, man, you just got to be a better man. He said, this ain't the first, ain't going to be the last. You know, so that was one of my most times where I actually was willing to just go ahead and hurt him, take his life, and just be done with it.
How did you feel when you felt you were getting out?
Oh man, I don't think I think probably one of the best feelings of my life. That.
When did you find out?
Well, I was in a transition and release program. Was the RDAP, was a drug release program, and I was in there supposed to get a year off your sentence, so I actually got off like a year and a half early instead of doing 135. I got out and like think 9 years, right around 9 years and a half, and I was just so happy. They had a hold on me, so I really didn't know I was gonna get the year off in the program. So I just said I started praying. At this time, I gained so much knowledge, and I was just mature at the time. So I started praying. And they get. At this time, the crazy part about it, my mom just died a year before I got out. So I'm like, man, I got to get out here and make it. And, all these things was running through my mind at times. So I'm like, I was so happy. And I was ready to go, man. I was just like, man, please let me out. And God blessed me. I got out. They removed the hold off of me, and I got out.
What did you do when you got out?
Well, at this time, I was traumatized by drugs, so I didn't want to mess with drugs at the time. So I was planning on just give me a business and running my business, but I ran into another problem. In the process, at the halfway house, I was so happy to be free. I just started cutting corners. I put fictitious pay stubs just to get out the halfway house. I started hanging out and stuff, chilling, having fun, and they caught me. So I actually didn't even get out the halfway house. I had to go back to prison.
How long did you spend the second time?
Second time I spent about 6 to 8 months. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed because I just got out and I didn't even make it out the halfway house. And I'm right back, So, I just was embarrassed. I felt like I let my kids down, family down. But I went back, boom, done 8 months and got back out.
Did you ever felt like you wasn't able to get back to society because it was so easy for you to get back in?
At the time, so when I got out, this time I say, well, I'm not gonna go as hard as I used to go in the game. But this time I say, I gotta make me some money. So I was trying my plans that I thought was gonna work for me when I got out, like business proposals, business plans. It wasn't that easy to transition back to working or creating, starting your own business. So that is the thing that hit all the ex-drug dealers. When you get out, it's hard to transition from making all this money selling dope and trying to start a business where you gotta be on a set income. I didn't have no set income when I was selling dope. I done whatever I wanted to do, whenever I wanted to do. I had the money, had the support. There's nothing I couldn't ask for that I couldn't get. I was spoiled. And that's where all us, me, ex-drug dealer, for a week. You know, it's like a kid. And a lot of people can't break it. So I was like, man, I got to get me some money. So I just started dabbling in weed. Marijuana, I started dabbling in that. A guy came that I was selling marijuana to, introduced me to pills. So I started dabbling in that. Long story short, got caught up, and this time I'm on federal probation, so I violated probation. By me catching another drug charge, they gave me the maximum time, so I went back to do 3 more years. So after I done the 9.5, I went back and done 6, 10, then I came back out, violated again, and done 3 more on violation. This was the turning point of my life, the last 3 years, you know. By me going to church since I was a kid, and I said, man, you know, I'm going to try the Lord this time, man. I tried everything. And a brother actually brought it front with me. He gave his testimony about how God has been good to him. And to me, I thought it was funny because this brother done 20 years and he giving a testimony how God been good to him. Like, man, hold on. You know, I had to scratch my head like, man, literally, like, how God been good to you, man? You done 20 years and you got, I think, at least 10 more to go. So, you know, that was the turning point of me in my life. And I like, man, God's got to be good. For this got to be happy after doing 20 years and got 10 more to go. So I started studying the Word, reading the Bible, multiple times reading the Bible and reading the Word. And, you know, one of my best friend, dad, a preacher at this time. He's been a preacher. He's been my pastor for 30-some years. Our church anniversary. I started going to church when it first opened. I was like 9 or 10 years old. So I've been a member at the church for 30 years. So I said, man, I got to get God. I got to go back to God. And, you know, as I'm studying at the same time, I'm learning everything about the Word and learning about the Bible, learning about who, what, when, where, and why in the Bible. And I just started learning so much, and I started applying it in my life. So this time, when I get out, it won't be such hard for me doing this by myself than me doing it with God, you know, the Lord. So this helped me to transition from wanting to sell drugs and wanting that fast money and everything. So this was the game changer for me. I said to myself, my mom, she wouldn't be proud of me right now at this point. So I got to make my mom proud. Even though she's not here, but in the spirit, by me learning about my spirit man, and that was the greatest thing ever happened to me. You know what I'm saying? God put it in my life for me to understand that you're not here by yourself. Even though you got family member, kids, sister, brothers, and my dad here, he put in my life that you're not here by yourself. You can come to me. And I was going to Bible study the last 6 months of my violation. Every other night, at least 3 to 4 times, I was listening to Pastor Tony Evans, Joyce Myers. Everything in my life has transformed from that moment where I just stayed up under the word. Everything that's dealing with God, grace and everything. I just stayed up under the word, I didn't want to do nothing else. There wasn't nothing better for me to do is to stay up on the word. And then by my best friend, mom and dad being pastor, I used to call them. They used to pray for me. And then I done something that I didn't do, but a brother in there, he told me, man, he said, man, the script in you is in your tithing. I'm like, man, what you talking about, man? We're in prison, man. I'm finna tithe from prison. He said, man, it's strengthened it. It let you, I can't remember word for word, but he said it releases you from being chained and bind to money. He said it releases you from being chained and bind to money. And long story short, it's basically about we as drug dealers, we chained and bind to money because we didn't substitute money for our God. So at that point, I'm like, man, and he just gave a whole sermon about tithing. And at the time I'm meditating on it, at the time I went back, prayed, and it just stuck with me. And so now, what I done from that day on, I started tithing in prison.
How'd you get the money to tithe?
I was working in prison, so I making like $50 to $100. I would tithe. So my check come in, I go in there to my counselor, and I send my 10%, and I get some money sent in. I get a couple hundred sent in. I send my 10%. So everything I was doing, I said, I'm gonna trust in God. Let me start tithing. And I started tithing from that day on, and it didn't matter. People like, man, why you tithing in prison? I said, man, I can't rob God. You know what I'm saying? My relationship became so strong with God. I said, I can't rob God. And that's where everything started getting better for me. It's not where I want to be, but it was great. You know what I'm saying? My spirit was different. I walked different. I wasn't challenged about getting back out here, getting some more drugs to make me some more money. I got to the point, it's like, hey, man, I'm finna do this for my family. I'm finna do this for my mom, most of all. And I'm finna do this for my kids. See, that same guy that talked to me about tithing, he also talked to me about selfishness. And he's like, man, we are real super stupid and selfish because every time we got there, we don't think about our kids. We don't think about our mom. We don't think about our dad, sisters, brothers. That we get in prison. And they're the first people we want to talk to. We're the first people we ask for money. You know what I'm saying? Then the first people you're like, do you love me? But at the same time, you don't show this love back. So this was my biggest transition. Them last 6 months was my biggest transition to getting out here doing right, man, because I thought about them. I can't leave my kids back out here again. I can't leave my my father out here. He's old. You know what I'm saying? He passed. I'm be in prison. He passed. I'll probably go crazy. So at this time, I said, man, you got to do it, man. That drugs, that money don't control you. And it's something that, you have to suppress, especially as an ex-drug dealer, ex-con man. I didn't understand why me as a drug dealer, the drugs was worse than me than the addict. The drugs was worse on me than the addict. I started catching when I was in the game, I used to start I started fiending and twitching and stuff when I didn't have no drugs because I was so used to the lifestyle. I'm so used to the money. So it made me feel like, man, you better get you some dope. You better get you some money, boy. You better get it. It's easy. You can't beat this. But in part of my transition, I started learning about that you actually got to be super lazy and super stupid to continue to sell drugs. People say, why you say that? Because you got to look at it. Drugs, it's easy to sell. You don't need to put no effort. They sell. You know. So this is part of my transition. I'm like, dang, man. God told me, like, you know who you know that's smart that's selling drugs? And he challenged me. And I was like, man, I know this guy. He got everything going. He said, is he really smart? Look at him. He risking all that. He risking his family, his kids, his house, his job. He risking everything just to sell drugs, which he already got the money from already. But he's still risking that. He got a kids, beautiful wife. Now, this was a game breaker and changes me too. He said, now listen, when he go to drill, his wife is already comfortable to that lifestyle. So what you think she gonna do? You think she gonna sit and wait there for him for 20 years? He said, did your wife sit there and wait for you? Did your girl sit there and wait for you? He said, how long did she stay? He said, man, I said, shh. My brother stayed about 6 months, a year max. You think this lady finna stay? And, you know, these guys enlighten me in my growth and development. And they just pushing me hard and hard and hard. So, you know, really, I can't thank these brothers enough, man. But they just really explained and showed me the drug game and where it leads you. You know what I'm saying? Because at this time, I'm young. I had friends, cousins, people dying. He said, man, look at these people. These people dying because of drugs. They're not dying because of natural cause. Because if they weren't doing the things of selling drugs or robbing and doing all this stuff, he said, man, they'll still be here today. And he got back to the thing. He said, man, that girl gonna leave him. Just like your girl left, his girl left. And he was dead right. Soon as that guy got at her, his girl left. Went to the next guy. So there was a lot of lessons I seen, you know, head on. You know, I seen them head on. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to dodge all this stuff just to say I got this and that. And then that's what my growth came. I said, man, I don't have to worry about the police no more. Snitches, the robbers, the jack boys, you know, police, all this stuff. I actually took stress off my life when I started selling drugs. You know, it was a relief that, hey man, shoot, this is life right here. I don't got everything, but I got God. So he helped me. With God, I transitioned from selling drugs to going in the direction and where I'm going now.
So what do you think is the most important message you learned from your time spent in prison?
The most important thing I think I learned from my time spent in prison is they do got a system. It's gonna lock you up. It's just a matter of time, you know. As a drug dealer, you know, we thinking we can't get caught. We kind of invincible. We got all this money and we think we could buy ourselves out of situation. And sometimes some guys send hits on the snitches to kill them. But, you know, it's just a matter of time, you know, that it's not a career. That's what I learned. The most important thing I learned about drugs in my life direct, that it's not a career. It's temporary. Now, people got in the game and made it out? Yeah. Have people got in the game and didn't make it out? Yeah. The percentage is high. Probably 3% make it out. The other 97 don't.
So what do you do today to keep yourself from what do you do today to keep yourself from having the thoughts of going back, and how do you give the message to young people who's trying to get into the drug game that there's no future there?
Well, basically, I give them my life story. I give them my histories. And I try to really direct everything with common sense, stuff they can see, because like the young guys, they can't see it. And I was in their shoes. I made them same mistakes. And this is the thing my dad used to tell me. I laugh about it every day now, almost. He said, son, you can't see your nose. I say, what? You can't see past your nose? I thought I was smart. So I reached out, touched my nose and trying to show him off. What he was really telling me at the time was, you can't see because you're trying to look at everything right now. You're not looking at the future. So you're just looking at the day. He's like, God will that you wake up to see tomorrow and don't be dead. Don't be in prison. You know what I'm saying? Or don't be crippled because somebody trying to rob your future. Or they torture you. Because the spirit that lies on drugs is a spirit that you can't fend off as a young man or a young lady. Even as an adult, you can't fend this spirit off. It's probably, if not the worst spirit in the world, because it keeps you under illusion. It keeps you confused. It keeps you lost. You can't fight something that you don't even know that you're fighting. You be thinking, well, I'm doing good. Got a house, car, clothes. He just hating. Why would I be hating? I don't have nothing against you. You never done nothing to me. When I be talking to him, they will go back and say, well, he hating. He don't know what he talking about. I'm finna get this money. He washed up. Man, I ain't washed up. I ain't done that. When I done it, I ran circles around you. So I know I know how to do it. But what I do understand today, that the kids can't, and adults and everybody, that drug spirit is one of the strongest spirits in the world. It's hard to control. It take a lot of praying, meditating, especially after you get that taste,
So how's life for you today?
Well, life for me today, I transitioned from selling drugs. Now I'm doing initially what I had planned 20 years ago with the truck and trailer. Now I'm an owner operator. I have my first truck, my own authority. Right now I'm not where I want to be, but I'm far from where I came. And with God in my life, I continue to work towards bettering myself, my family, my kids, trusting in God for everything, and just keeping faith and moving forward.
So in closing, what kind of message would you like to send for any young man who's looking to go the easy route?
Basically, just I don't know if it's the right way. Let me go back. I don't know if it's the right way. Basically, man, you got to have God in your life. You got to trust in God, man. He brought me out of it. I know he could do it for everybody else. I have trust. I have faith in God. I know he can do it for me because I was just addicted to the drugs and money, just like a fiend. So don't try it, man. Work for yourself. Plan, plan, plan. Trust in God. Keep him first. And I know you can make it.
All right, man. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.